Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about deaf awareness. I'll be sharing both my knowledge and my personal experience on hearing loss. For those of you who don't know me, I have hearing loss in both sides of my ears. So first of all, what is deaf? Deafness refers to someone who can hear partially or not at all. Hearing loss isn't on a spectrum and it can range from mild to profound hearing loss. Everyone experiences hearing loss differently. So for example, when I was 2 years old, I was diagnosed with hearing loss. I have a severe hearing loss on my left side of the ear and a profound hearing loss on my right side of the ear. So one of the most important things to understand is that hearing loss is incredibly diverse. Every deaf person or hard of hearing person experience differently and has different communication style and different support needs. Think about the hearing world where everybody has different ability, different personality and different experiences. So in the deaf and hard of hearing world, we all have hearing loss, but everyone's journey is unique and different. So for instance, some people wear hearing aids and while other people wear cochlear implant. If you don't know what is cochlear implant, I will make a separate video explaining it in more details. Some people read lips while other people use sign language. So no, not every deaf or hard of hearing person do sign language. This is one of the biggest huge misconception in the deaf world, that people assume that all deaf sign, but this is simply not true. Every deaf or hard of hearing person um, communicate differently, where some communicate orally, other people sign, and some people they do both, where they are able to sign and also read lips. It's also important to know that people use different terms when identifying themselves. So for instance, some people identify themselves as hard of hearing while other people identify themselves as deaf. For those who identify themselves as hard of hearing, many of them often rely on lip reading, oral communication, and they may wear hearing aids or cochlear implant. They also rely on caption or subtitle when watching movies, YouTube videos, TV, or any form of media. For those who identify themselves as deaf, often use sign language as their primary language, and they may work with ASL interpreters, which stand for American Sign Language Interpreter, whether it's at school or public events, appointment, work, etc. However, everyone's preferences are different and not every person fit into one category. I forgot to mention, for those who are hard of hearing, some of them do use a helpful tool which is called an FM system, or some people call it a remote microphone system. These systems are commonly used in school, but there are some adults that actually use it during their workplace or use it during their meeting. So basically the speaker wear a small microphone and the sound transmitted to the person hearing aid or cochlear implant, and it helps them to hear better. It helps to reduce the background noise and clear speech. There's another term that I want to talk about. It's called late deafening or deafening. It is a new term to me, so I just only learned about recently. But it's when a person was born with hearing but lost it later on in life. So this is quite interesting to me because it just shows how hearing loss can be really diverse. Now I want to talk about the term hearing impairment. There's, I guess, a little bit controversial around this term, because there are some people that do not like the term hearing impairment because it gave a negative connotation to it. However, there are some people like me who are okay using this term. So I guess at the end of the day, it's really all about how how people identify themselves is all about their preferences. So we should respect how people identify themselves and whatever term they want to use for themselves. Now I want to share a little bit more about my own personal experience. I usually consider myself as hard of hearing or deaf because I communicate by speaking and I rely on reading lips. I also wear hearing in both of my ears and I rely on caption or subtitle when I watch movie, YouTube videos, or TV show. Without subtitle or caption, it will be difficult for me to hear and it will be hard to follow what's being said. When I was in school and university, I used an FM system to hear my teachers and professors better and more clearly. I also sit in the front rows just so I can understand what's going on in classroom and hear my teacher and professor better. Noisy environment are quite challenging for me because background noise make it much harder for me to hear and read their lips. So if I don't understand what the person is saying, I will ask them to repeat it again. And if I still don't catch it, I will ask them to write it down or type it in the phone just so I understand what they said to me. Of course, this is just my experience and my knowledge on deaf awareness. Every single deaf or hard of hearing person have their own experience and their own story. And no single experience represents the entire community. I hope you learned something new from this video and have a better understanding of deaf awareness. If there's anything that I missed or if there's a topic you would like me to talk about in another video, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences. If you're deaf, hard of hearing, or know someone who is, feel free to share your perspective. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.